In this video, we'll take a deep dive into GrowSurf's comprehensive anti-fraud system and show you why you can have peace of mind when it comes to dealing with fraudsters. We'll also walk through the available anti-fraud features you have to combat bad actors. GrowSurf can identify fraud through a series of proprietary measures, and can detect a fraudster regardless of whether they're in a private browser instance, using different browsers, or changing screen sizes. Once data is submitted to our servers, the person's information is processed through a series of validation methods in order to classify fraud risk. GrowSurf will assess behavior and characteristics of new participants during a specific threshold of time, and detect any suspicious patterns and anomalies. Whenever you have fraudsters in your campaign, you'll see a banner at the top of your participant dashboard that lets you view a list of all fraudsters. Within the list, these participants will always be visibly tagged as high risk or medium risk. High risk means that our system is overly confident that the participant is a fraudster. Medium risk indicates there's a good chance of fraud, however GrowSurf is not 100% certain and it's recommended that you review the participant in detail. If you have any fraudsters in your campaign, you can click the top right More Actions drop-down icon in your dashboard to bulk delete your fraudsters. When you view an individual fraudster, you can see the granular reason they were marked with fraud risk. If you click the top right More Actions drop-down, you can uncover the fraudster's true identity. Additionally, you can audit their activity logs to further investigate the participant, and view information such as when and where they signed up from, and what their IP address was. In the event that a potential bad actor worms their way through the cracks and isn't tagged with fraud, you can manually mark the participant as a fraudster. Now that we've covered how fraudsters appear on your dashboard, as well as some of the tools available to you, let's take a look at the additional anti-fraud capabilities in the campaign editor. When you scroll to the Automate Fraud Prevention section in the Options step, the first setting you can adjust is whether or not you want to completely block all high-risk fraudsters. Choosing the Strict setting will completely block anyone who has a high fraud risk level from joining your referral campaign. If you switch to the Loose setting, this will allow anyone to join your campaign, regardless of if they have any fraud risk associated with them. Even if your fraud prevention setting is set to Loose, all fraudsters will always be visibly marked in your dashboard, just as we saw earlier in the video. Additionally, you can blacklist or whitelist email addresses, IP addresses, and countries. For example, blacklisting would be useful if you identify a fraudster who uses the same email address in a particular pattern. It's also helpful in that you can block bad actors from hostile countries. Lastly, if you are using the GrowSurf form for capturing new participants, you can enable Google's Recapture to battle spammers. This will halt any robots from submitting the form, as a human must pass a verification test. To wrap up this video, we have some additional suggestions that may help you combat fraudsters. In the installation step of the campaign editor, you can set your referral trigger to be custom event, which means that referrals will not count until you programmatically trigger them. By requiring your participants to perform a specific action, this acts as another barrier of entry. The next suggestion is that you can set your reward automation level to manually approve rewards within the options step of the campaign editor. This will ensure that when a participant reaches a reward goal, it will not be unlocked for them until you manually approve their reward. You'll always receive an email notification letting you know when you have a reward to approve,